All right, let's get right into it. As developers, our whole world is about finding and squashing bugs, right? But what if one of the most frustrating bugs your users ever face isn't a crash, but a feature? I'm talking about repetition. And today, we're going to treat that repetition like the bug it is and figure out how to crush it.
So I'll just ask you straight up, is your UI making people do the same thing over and over and over again? Because if the answer is yes, you might have accidentally coded a major headache right into your app.
Let's just give this a name, shall we? Let's call it the repetition bug. Now, it's not going to show up in your error logs, but believe me, it is just as damaging. When a user has to do the same boring task again and again, it just completely shatters their focus, it wastes their time, and honestly, it makes them want to close the tab and never come back.
And this is where it really hits home for us as devs. User frustration, that turns into angry support tickets and one-star reviews. Decreased efficiency, that means your app feels slow and clunky. And you know what happens when people get bored and annoyed? They start making mistakes. But the real kicker is that all of this leads to lower retention. If your app doesn't respect a user's time, they will absolutely find one that does.
So how do we fix this nasty bug? Well, the solution is actually super elegant and incredibly powerful. Automation. And listen, this is not about building some complex AI. It's just about writing smarter code. Code that thinks one step ahead of the user and does the boring work for them.
Let's be really clear what we mean by automation here. All it is the simple practice of cutting out those tedious, repetitive user actions. Think of it as a golden rule for good UX, one that you bake right into your code to create that smooth, seamless experience everybody is looking for.
And the best part? You don't have to start from scratch. There's a whole toolkit of proven patterns you can start using like today to get rid of repetition. So we're going to walk through 5 core techniques that can make a massive difference in your app.
And here they are, the big 5. Pre-filling forms, remembering user preferences, providing smart suggestions, enabling batch actions, and offering keyboard shortcuts. Every single one of these is a powerful weapon against the repetition bug. So let's break them down. First up, and this is a big one, pre-filling forms. The rule is simple. If you have asked a user for a piece of information once, you should never, ever have to ask them for it again. Your app needs to have a memory. It's that simple.
And this example just makes it so clear. Think about any shopping site. The before is just annoying. It's slow, and it's a recipe for typos. The after? It's seamless. The app remembered the shipping address, filled it in, and turned this whole chore into a single satisfying click.
All right, tool number 2 builds on that same idea of memory. Just remember what the user likes. You know, when a user customizes their experience, maybe it's a theme, a layout, a notification setting, that choice has got to stick. Forcing them to set it up again every single time they log in, that is a textbook repetition bug.
Dark mode is the perfect example, right? It's a personal choice. The before scenario feels like your app has amnesia, like it just doesn't care. But the after shows that you respect their choice. It creates this immediate feeling of, okay, I'm home.
Okay, tool number 3 is where we get proactive. It's all about providing smart suggestions. By looking at what a user has done before, or what most users do, you can predict what they might want to do next. And that saves them from typing, searching, and just thinking so hard. I mean, we see this every single day in search bars. The before is slow, and you have to get the spelling exactly right. The after is a total game changer. It just speeds everything up and even helps people discover things they didn't even know they were looking for. It feels like magic.
Now let's talk about a major efficiency booster, enabling batch actions. Look, if a user needs to do the same thing to a bunch of different items, you absolutely have to give them a way to do it all at once. Making them do it one by one is the very definition of tedious.
The email example. We've all felt this pain. 20 clicks versus 1 click. The difference here isn't just about saving a few seconds. It's about saving mental energy. It transforms a task you dread into something you don't even have to think about.
And finally, our 5th tool, and this one is for all the power users out there, keyboard shortcuts. For those really common actions, letting someone keep their hands on the keyboard instead of reaching for the mouse, it's the ultimate workflow hack. It makes your users feel fast, efficient, and totally in control.
The classic save command just says it all. The before is this constant, tiny little interruption that just breaks your concentration. The after, that's pure muscle memory. It's not even a conscious thought. It keeps the user locked in and focused on their actual work, not on fighting with your UI.
So you implement these tools, you start squashing these repetition bugs. What's the end result? Well, the payoff is huge. You're not just fixing a few small annoyances here, you're fundamentally making the entire user experience better, which leads to much, much happier users.
And here's what it all boils down to. On the left, you've got frustration, errors, and wasted time. But when you add automation, you flip the script. You get user satisfaction, fewer errors, and a huge boost in efficiency. This is the real, tangible advantage you get.
And this quote from the source material just ties it all together beautifully. This isn't just about making things look nice or feel cool. This is about building an experience that works so well that people want to keep using it. That is how you meet user needs, and that is how you directly improve your retention rate.
So I'll leave you with this challenge. Go back to your project. Look at your own UI through this new lens. I guarantee you'll find it that one annoying repetitive thing you're making your users do day in and day out. What's the first repetition bug you're going to go and fix?